It was supposed to be the greatest love story of our time. A prince who walked away from a palace. A Hollywood actress who broke into royalty. Two people who said no to centuries of tradition so they could build something new. Something authentic. Something just theirs. But now, behind the velvet curtains of Montecito, away from the camera flashes and choreographed appearances, that picture-perfect love story is beginning to unravel. The whispers have grown louder, the smiles less frequent. And behind every curated Instagram post and carefully managed headline, one question keeps rising to the surface. Did Prince Harry give up his entire world for someone who only saw him as a stepping stone? When they first arrived in California, it felt like a breath of fresh air. No more palace rules, no more tabloid hysteria, just freedom. But what looked like liberation from the outside soon became a new kind of cage, especially for Harry. He had envisioned a quiet life, simple, purposeful, away from the spotlight. He wanted to be a husband, a father, a man healing from a lifetime under scrutiny. But for Meghan, California wasn't a retreat, it was a stage, and the curtain never really came down. In the beginning, Harry played along. The interviews, the Netflix doc, the podcast deals, it all felt like part of the mission. They were going to tell their truth, be voices of change. But somewhere along the way, that shared vision split. Meghan leaned into the cameras. She thrived in meetings, in photo shoots, in brand strategy sessions. Every day brought a new opportunity to be seen, to be heard, to be admired. And Harry? He faded into the background. The prince who once captivated millions by defying royal tradition now looked like a silent extra in someone else's movie. Those close to them say Harry has changed. Not in the way love changes a person, but in the way loss does. Loss of direction, loss of voice, loss of identity. He's become quieter, more introspective. No longer the fiery, rebellious soul who walked behind his mother's casket and swore he'd carve his own path. Now he's often alone, physically and emotionally. While Meghan attends glamorous events and rubs shoulders with billionaires and media tycoons, Harry stays home. While she's off building her lifestyle empire, he's pacing hallways, wondering what exactly he sacrificed everything for. And yet, Meghan's brand only grows. She's mastered the art of the rebrand, from royal victim to modern-day mogul. One day she's an advocate for mental health. The next, she's launching a jam line or speaking about motherhood with glossy perfection. Each move calculated, each image polished. But there's one thing missing in these campaigns. Harry. He's no longer at her side, no longer at the center of her story. And the silence is starting to say more than words ever could. Rumors of a trial separation are gaining traction. Not the dramatic, scandalous kind, but a quiet, strategic distancing. Meghan keeps the narrative in her hands, always poised, always composed. But those close to Harry say he's tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of watching his life turn into a performance. And tired of being reduced to someone else's plus one. Behind closed doors, things are different. The house in Montecito, with all its grandeur, feels cold. Not in temperature, but in energy. They live under the same roof, but their lives are increasingly separate. Meghan's days are filled with meetings, stylists, rehearsals. Harry's days are filled with silence. He spends more time with the kids, more time alone. Sometimes he just drives for hours, no destination, just driving. And in that silence, he's beginning to ask the hard questions. What did I give up? What did I believe I was building? Was this ever truly about us? Or was I just a chapter in her story? Friends say he's been reaching out. Old mates from the army, even some family members he once pushed away. Not to mend fences just yet, but to reconnect with the version of himself that existed before the headlines, before the palace, and maybe even before Meghan. One source close to the couple revealed something haunting. Harry's starting to wonder if he left a gilded cage only to step into a velvet one. He thought he was choosing freedom, but what he got was a life curated for public approval, shaped by brand deals and media optics, where authenticity was traded for aesthetics. And it's not just emotional strain, it's financial pressure too. Spotify dropped them. Their podcast disappeared without a whisper. Their production company hasn't delivered. The lavish Montecito lifestyle requires an income stream that simply isn't sustainable without Harry constantly performing. And he doesn't want to perform anymore. He wants peace. Real peace. Not the kind you post online, but the kind where you can sit with yourself and not feel like a product. That's why the conversations have begun. Quiet ones, legal ones. Contingency plans are being drafted. Custody discussions, asset protections. Not because a divorce has been confirmed, but because one is being prepared for. Meghan, ever the strategist, is positioning herself carefully. She's painting the image of the strong, independent mother. There are more photos of her with the children, more narratives about her rediscovery. She's laying the groundwork for public sympathy. She knows how to manage the fallout. She's done it before. And Harry? He might not say a word. He never liked the spotlight. If he walks away, it'll be quietly. No press conference, no big reveal. Just silence. He might disappear altogether. Maybe to the UK. Maybe to Africa. Maybe to a place where no one asks him for quotes or selfies. A place where he can just be. Because what began as a bold love story is now a cautionary tale. Not just about fame or royalty or marriage, but about identity. About what happens when you give up everything for someone who doesn't want the same future you do. Harry gave up his family, his titles, his homeland, even his name in some ways, for love. And now, as he sits in the middle of a mansion built on broken promises and media campaigns, he's wondering if that love was ever real. Or just the perfect narrative. This isn't just a breakup. It's a reckoning. A man who traded his crown for a chance at freedom, now realizing that even outside the palace walls, he was never truly free. Not from expectations, not from manipulation, and maybe not from her.